Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband.
Wife.
So how you been?
Sick. How you been?
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still recovering a bit. Wife more than me. I had it first, and then wife got it, so.
You gave it to me.
Thanks. I did.
Thanks for that, husband. Appreciate ya.
Yeah. So it's been like over a week.
Yes, it has.
And we have to I apologize.
Totally.
We can't help getting sick. It is what it is, you know? It's winter.
It sucks that it's like right at the beginning of the new year. I just penciled in 6 months worth of episodes, and now I gotta use my giant magical eraser.
Yeah.
That's why I use pencil.
But on the plus side, you like making lists of things.
I really do.
So, that works out, you know?
It kind of does.
Yeah. Before we get into things here, I do want to make an announcement. We were behind when we stopped doing episodes with regard to shouting out new patrons.
We did.
So we'll be doing those for a few days straight here.
Yeah.
Today, I would like to thank S. Murphy or...
Smurfy.
Smurfy, yeah. S. Murphy.
Thank you, Smurfy. S. Murphy.
And just say thank you so much. We cannot express how much it means to us whenever we get a new patron, and you guys are helping us out with keeping this thing alive. And when we go through times like this where we're down for a week, it's even more amazing that we still have you guys. It's just
seriously,
you guys are the best, and we love you.
We feel super guilty when we have to not record because we want to give you material.
Yeah. We owe you.
You're supporting us. We want to give it to you.
Right, exactly.
So apologies and thank you
thank you,
much.
S. Murphy.
Thank you.
Very much appreciate it. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about our episode.
Oh, yeah.
And, what do you do? I have no clue what we talked about last time.
I started to ask, do you even remember a little bit?
No, it's been too long.
I actually kind of do, because the last thing we did was a Q&A over the final song.
That's right.
The servant song.
Okay.
And it was kind of what the fuck-ish.
Sure.
Do you remember that? We
Only
got
vaguely.
Into more of the controversy about who the suffering servant is.
Right.
And
is it Jesus?
It's not. It's totally not. It's really not. And,
right.
And early on, during the time when Christianity was first forming, the Christians recognized that it wasn't Jesus.
Right. There's even people on record saying as much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting as well.
Right. So, that is where we were. We left off with Isaiah chapter 52, mid-song.
Okay. All right. And so that means that today we're going to be getting into
Isaiah chapter 53.
Awesome. Let's go do this.
Okie dokie. All right. So we are going to get into Isaiah chapter 53.
Okay.
Which means that we're finishing up that fourth song.
Gotcha.
Of the suffering servant. And that one goes through Isaiah chapter 52, verse 13, through chapter 53, where we're at, verse 12. So I'll try to keep my mind out and say, that's it. That's the end of that song.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So there we go.
Sounds great.
Here we go. Mid-song. Oh, who has believed our message?
Not me. Oh, sorry. That was not an actual question.
I wasn't prepared for that. And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? Not I.
Again, yeah.
He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Sure as fuck did not.
Mostly he was just kind of an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him.
Are we talking about God?
That's what it sounds like, right?
Okay. But I mean...
Oh, you know what? No, I think... What?
Or is this the servant? Because remember, the servant's ugly as hell.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the servant. Because he got
That was
leprosy.
one of my favorite things when they were like, this dude's ugly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they think this is Jesus?
Right?
Come on now.
Right? Yeah, because he's ugly as fuck because he's got the leprosy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain.
Mm.
Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised.
Damn.
And we held him in low esteem.
Well, I mean, that happens in society, I guess. Sometimes.
There's a lot of people that hold me in low esteem. Guess how much it impacts my day-to-day?
0.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because I ran out of fucks a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions.
Oh, wow. That's some imagery, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You can see why them Christians get all
right.
excited.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was crushed for our iniquities.
I don't remember Jesus getting crushed, but okay.
Well, I mean...
I guess you could take that in many different ways.
Yeah.
So,
his spirit was certainly crushed.
but again, this is like... The Jesus story was written with the knowledge of what happened in Isaiah, and if you wanted to fit a story in there, you would take all the things and say, we're going to make this work.
Yeah, exactly. So. Exactly. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed.
Wow.
Okay.
Man, that's wow.
Okay.
Again, I just said, like, you know.
I can see why you would think that if you were brought up in the church.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you think that?
No, it seems very direct right here.
Yeah.
I mean.
We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter. And as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. Yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth.
Huh.
This feels so Jesus-y.
It really does.
I can't help it. I know I'm not supposed to be reading this like with that in mind, but I'm not reading it in a vacuum. I can't help but bring what I know to the table, you know?
Yeah, no, it definitely, again, I'm going to say this again. The Jesus story was written later.
Yeah.
With the knowledge of this story.
Yes.
With the knowledge of this quote-unquote prophet.
Right.
So.
Right. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer, because the Lord is a dick. And though the Lord makes his life an offering for sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After he has suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities.
Interesting.
All right, here we're coming up on verse 12, the end of the song, which happens to be also the end of the chapter.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes it easy.
Yeah. Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
That was very, you're spot on. That is very Jesus-y.
Right?
And I don't know what to do with that exactly, other than to say, again, that...
We're in Deutero-Isaiah. We're in the part that was written way later.
That doesn't matter. It
does matter. We're in the part that was written during the time of Christianity instead of, back in Isaiah.
This was written, I thought, in the time of the exile.
No, the first part of Isaiah was Proto-Isaiah.
Okay, I thought that was written in the time of Isaiah. And the
first,
exile.
The first part was written in the time of Isaiah, which
I
was the time of
think
the exile.
We're going to have to go back and study this because I think you're wrong.
Well, we are in Isaiah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But the later portion was written during the exile when Cyrus was around, which was pre-Christianity still.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying, is that...
I thought it was 200 years later.
It was, but it's not Christianity yet.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that this was written pre-Christianity.
Okay.
And we have to keep that in mind as we're reading this, because the Christians took a lot of these messages and put them into the New Testament.
Okay.
And so they stole this story and made it their own. They made this the Christ story because it was a very convenient story to make their own.
Got it.
At least that's how I would take it,
right,
reading it the way that we're reading it. Because nowhere in there does it say anything about him being the Son of God or anything like that. It just has this story about this person who suffered for the sins of other people, right? Right. Which sounds close to the Jesus story, and it sounds like they took that message and incorporated it into the Jesus story.
Okay, I see.
But
so you're not saying that this story was written and retrofit into what already existed. You're saying that Christianity was written and retrofit into Isaiah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a minute. So
I just wanted to clarify because
I appreciate
that was an important point for me, at least.
Yeah,
and I know we don't want to talk, like we've said in the past that we don't want to talk a lot about Christianity, but I think it's unavoidable, especially with this verbiage. Like, we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
and we don't know enough to
speak intelligently.
Yeah,
about it.
We don't know enough to speak intelligently about it, and yet, even so, it's still striking us as, oh shit.
But it also still strikes me as obvious that they could take this story and retrofit the Jesus story into it. Right. And that it makes sense why they would do that, even because it's such a strong story that is... This character, the servant, is a very strong character in this Bible that we've read so far. Right. So, I mean, definitely they were going to want to take this and do something with it. Right. And to make this the Jesus character for them makes a lot of sense. And to attribute it to this great prophet. Right. I mean, that's just even prettier. You know? No, definitely. Put a fucking bow on it and call it done. Exactly. That being said, Speaking of done. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it other than, all the shit that we said about it. So I'm glad to be back, though. I am too. This feels good to get an episode under our belt. It really does, because I was starting to feel a little desperate. Like, am I going to remember? I couldn't even, like, I had to think about how to pull up the different places that I go to read this. I mean, the struggle for me is going to be doing, because, like, my routine after we're done here is a very quick, like, copy paste, right. Click. But, like, I'm out of practice for a week. So. Right? It's so funny. Like, you think you have it down, and then you miss a week, and everything's new all over again. Yeah. We missed you guys. We did. We missed the work, and we missed doing this. Exactly, we did. Yeah. So that was Isaiah chapter 53. Sure as fuck was. Which means that we'll be back tomorrow. Assuming nothing else goes wrong. With Isaiah chapter 54. All right, we'll see you guys then. Bye. Husband. Wife. Do you remember what happened yesterday and where the hell we are today? Jesus. Or, Christ. Well, not Jesus, but, what's it, the servant. The servant, the suffering servant. Servant song, the song of suffering. Right. Yeah. That guy. Serve me a song of slice of... And they're going to pierce him, and he's going to do Jesus-y things. Oh, but he's not Jesus, because... No. You're right. Whatever. You're right. Yeah. So that happened. That happened. And no more songs. No more songs in Isaiah. Right. That we know of, at least right now. That's true. They sneak up on you. Fucking songs in the Bible. Right? Yeah. Ooh. So that was Isaiah chapter 53. Sure as fuck was. Which means that today we're getting into... Isaiah chapter 54. Okay, and before we get into this, I do have another shout out. You do? Because we were woefully behind. Yeah, and since we're coming back full force now, we're back. We're ready to
back,
do this
baby.
shit. We're doing shout-outs.
Shout out.
So we just want to thank a new patron, Kevin P.
Okay, Kevin P., thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for becoming a patron. We really, really, really appreciate you guys. I can't express how much we really need this help and appreciate it every time we see it, because it really does pay for what we're doing and it validates what we're doing. So It really feels good every time we get a new patron.
It feels good on a personal level.
So thank you so much, Kevin, for becoming a patron, and we look forward to seeing you around.
Very much.
That being said, are you ready to go ahead and get into this chapter?
I am.
Which is chapter 54, right?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie. Okay, now before we jump into Isaiah chapter 54,
Okay.
I did want to clarify a point that I kind of messed up before when you were right and I was wrong.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So chapters 40 through 55 of Isaiah are known as Deutero-Isaiah, and they do date from the time of the Israelites' exile in Babylon.
Right.
So that is what you had said. Sorry, thank you, sorry.
No, yeah. I just wanted that. I only stuck to my guns because I knew I was right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why you go through this weird apology that you do. I'm like, I literally just conceded to you, and you're like,
my wife. You might get mad at me, so I gotta be like, I'm sorry for being right.
No, look, I never mind you being right. Just if you are going to argue with me that hard, you better be right.
Right. Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I do want the correct information.
You know, it does worry me sometimes that self-preservation, I don't argue with you enough sometimes.
Yeah, you should argue with me if you know you're right.
Yes, and I generally do.
Yeah.
I generally do.
And you usually are. Like, when you stick to your guns, you usually are right.
Right. There's been a couple of times when I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not many.
Those felt good.
Wife's got to win sometimes.
Yeah. Are you saying you let me win every once in a while?
No. You totally win those. I mean, like, on merit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, real quick before we actually jump into the meat here. Because this is coming out on Tuesday, and if you're listening before 10 p.m. on the Tuesday, I just wanted to reiterate real quick here at the beginning of the episode so that you don't forget that we have a live Discord event every Tuesday night at 10 p.m.
We do.
And the link is always in the show notes to join our Discord server.
Which you should do because it's so fucking fun.
It really is. It really is. We have a blast, and I don't know of a better social media outlet that's available than Discord. We've had so much fun there. So that being said, we can go ahead and move along to the episode here. I love people on Discord because we get to interact with them and it's so fun.
Yeah.
I just want more of them.
I know.
So
me too.
Join us. And don't worry about not knowing anything about Discord.
Right.
Join anyway because most of us didn't know shit about it.
I still don't know shit about it.
Right.
Half the time, no, about 3/4 of the time, I still can't even figure out how to get into the goddamn room or whatever it's called.
Right.
So, yeah, welcome all.
Yeah.
All right, Isaiah 54. Ready?
I'm ready.
Sing!
No.
Sing!
I don't want to fucking sing. I thought this wasn't a song, God damn it.
I'm sorry.
You told me there's no songs.
Well, this isn't a song insofar as.
I know.
Okay.
That's right. But
Sing!
I'm not singing.
Barren woman. Oh, I'm not talking to you. Well, you are barren, but you're not a woman. You who never bore a child, burst into song, shout for joy. You who were never in labor, because more are the children of the desolate woman than of her who has a husband, says the Lord.
That more are the children of the desolate woman. What?
Yeah.
I think they're trying to allude to some sort of a metaphor here.
Yeah,
or something.
They are definitely.
But
Israel is like a barren woman who has a child.
Got
who
it.
Then gives birth to a child.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not hold back. Strengthen your cords. Strengthen your stakes. For you will spread out to the right and to the left. Your descendants will dispossess nations and settle in their desolate cities. See?
I mean, they weren't completely wrong about that
Right,
because,
right.
recently Israel did displace a bunch of people.
They sure as fuck
and try
did,
to
didn't
settle
they?
in their places. So yeah.
Do not be afraid. You will not be put to shame. Do not fear disgrace. You will not be humiliated. You will forget the shame of your youth and remember no more the reproach of your widowhood. Why is widowhood shameful in the first fucking place?
I don't know. That shouldn't be.
I'm here to tell you, just so you know, if your spouse dies and you had no hand in it, you ain't got to be ashamed of being unmarried and your spouse died.
Right.
Like, you can be aggrieved or you can be, like, joyous if your marriage was shit.
For that matter, if your husband was an asshole and you left him, you don't have to feel ashamed.
That's what I just said.
I mean, anything that you choose to do, as long as it's the right thing for you.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't feel shame, though.
No shame.
No shame.
Yeah.
For your maker is your husband. Get the fuck out of here. The Lord Almighty is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He is called the God of all the earth.
So God is our husband?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There will be more of this alluding to God and Israel and faith as a marriage.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much more of that coming up, and a lot of it in the New Testament, and it's so irksome because it's not just that it's alluding to this marital relationship, it's alluding to a marital relationship where, and the man's in charge though.
Right.
And the man is either the husband or God.
Yeah.
Like, period.
And they're interchangeable when it comes to as far as how church leaders generally treat it in their speeches and stuff.
Like, at any given moment, the husband is either the actual husband, the church, or God.
And it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because
the Bible.
If you're a woman, you fucked.
Right.
You are so fucked.
Right.
Like, you have nothing. And that feels a little bit like, oh, then I'm not going to do this.
Right.
Why would I on purpose sign up for this life of not counting in this marriage? No thanks.
Yeah.
The Lord will call you back as if you were a wife deserted and distressed in spirit. Because heaven forbid that a woman be happy on her own with no husband or no spouse. Because nobody likes being alone, period, the end.
It's funny how often, you just touched on that this is going to happen a lot. But like even previously in the Bible, there have been so many references to like pain being equated to women's childbirth, right? And
something that the men who are like manly men, God, church, father, husband, has never experienced.
Right. And it's written, I mean, obviously we all know that this is written by men.
Right.
I mean, 100%. So it's interesting that they are so they want to compare so many things to women's plights and different things like that because they don't understand it, but they want to claim that they understand
I think it's because they don't understand it that they have to have some kind of ownership of it. We recognize that it's painful.
Well, and to me...
See how we recognize how painful it is?
I feel like part of it is that they don't really understand God either, so like them not understanding women is a similar, take. Like they don't understand women as much as they don't understand God, so let's just compare the two.
Sure, let's just put all the marbles in one bag. Sounds good. The Lord will call you back as if you were a wife deserted and distressed in spirit, a wife who married young only to be rejected, says your God.
I see.
Yeah, if your husband dies, it's because he rejected you.
Well,
you're a widow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
Okay.
Sucks to be you.
Right.
You're unloved and unwanted, and you're doomed now.
Yeah.
Nobody for you.
Right.
And if you don't like it, that sucks. If you do like it, that also sucks because nobody thinks you should like it.
Right.
For a brief moment, I abandoned you, but with deep compassion, I will bring you back.
Wow, he actually admitted that he abandoned them.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Right?
Good on him. There's some growth for God.
Can we go to therapy and talk about that? But why did you do that, though? But why did you do that? And then why did you deny it for so long? And what changed and made you feel like now is the time to share?
Yeah,
like,
use your feeling words.
Unburden yourself. Let's talk. In a surge of anger, I hid my face from you for a moment. Oh,
wow.
You was mad?
He's admitting anger, too.
Did you have mad? You put on your angry eyes.
This is good therapy for God here.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But with everlasting kindness, I will have compassion on you. I don't trust you that it's everlasting.
Right.
You might get mad again.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just got done telling us how you were mad and how you abandoned us.
Mm-hmm.
So why should we trust that it's going to be different this time?
Yeah.
You know?
Those are the words of, let me think about it, an abuser.
Yes.
And a gaslighting motherfucker.
Right.
He's only admitting it because it behooves him to do so in this moment.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what a gaslighting, abusive motherfucker does. They never admit it. They never did wrong. If they did something wrong, you deserved it anyway. And what is wrong with what they did anyway?
Yeah.
And yeah, they did it, but fuck you for it.
Right.
And you should have done it too. Who do I sound like?
I don't know.
Trump.
Okay.
I sound like Trump.
Got it. Sorry, I was not on the same page as you there.
I sound like Trump.
I didn't want to try to guess.
But I also sound like my ex. But mostly I sound like Trump. They are kind of interchangeable in some ways. Honestly.
Yes.
It's called narcissism.
Right.
The medical term, not the looking at yourself in the mirror because you love yourself. The fact of the matter is, clinically, the narcissist actually does not love himself in any way whatsoever.
Right. I think God is definitely a classic narcissist.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most gaslighty, abusive motherfuckers are.
Psychopath would be another thing. So, yeah.
Yep. To me, this is like the days of Noah, when I swore that the waters of Noah would never again cover the earth. So now, I have sworn not to be angry with you, never to rebuke you again.
What? I just sent you away to be enslaved for 400 years, for 200 years, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And just trust me.
Look,
I screwed up once back then with the flood, and then I did it again. But this time, guys, it's not gonna. I totally mean it this time.
I drowned all of you motherfuckers, and then I murdered all of you motherfuckers, and then I put the rest of you into slavery.
Right.
But I promise we're good this time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll never happen again. Don't you love me? I'm gonna love bomb you.
Right.
That's what it's called. I'm gonna love bomb you with gifts and words of affection and tell you how much. Oh my God, this guy's a narcissist, and I hate him so fucking much. Ugh. Okay. So Noah, blah, blah, blah. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed. Unless I do it.
Right, yeah.
I will give and taketh away, because I am Lord God, Alpha, Omega, and beginning. My name is I am, and boy am I.
Terms and conditions apply.
Right? Says the Lord, who has compassion on you. Afflicted city, lashed by storms and not comforted, I will rebuild you with stones of turquoise, your foundation with lapis lazuli.
Wow.
Because
I want to see this city. Because
in God's world, material objects matter.
Right. Well,
even back in Garden of Eden when he was like, and gold. Yes. There's gold there.
No, that was exactly what I was going to bring up. Like when we were reading Genesis for the first time, gold comes up, and I'm like, what?
Why
do we care about gold?
What did Adam need gold for?
Right. This is it's a perfect garden for humanity. There is no bad. There is no need for anything you don't want for anything.
And they were naked, so they didn't need it to decorate their bodies.
Right. But there was gold.
There was gold.
Pure gold.
Important enough that we mentioned that, and they were rich with gold.
Right.
Look how rich they were with all that gold that they didn't fucking need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will make your battlements of rubies, your gates of sparkling jewels, and all your walls of precious stones.
I call bullshit. I don't think this actually happened.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he said it, and then I don't think he did it.
Right. Well, I mean, you would think that. So we're talking like 2,000 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. 2,300 years ago, whatever, somewhere in that time frame. Yeah. If God built a city with fucking,
he built this city,
gemstones for the walls and the whatever and the battlements, we would find remnants of that. That would not have that. I mean, okay. I guess you could say maybe people plundered it all, I guess.
Yeah, if the city got sacked.
All right. Fair enough.
All your children will be taught by the Lord. and great will be their peace. In righteousness you will be established. Tyranny will be far from you.
Oh, okay.
You will have nothing to fear. Bullshit.
Except for me.
Except for, like, wait, wasn't there a whole Holocaust?
Yes.
I would say that is something to fear.
Right.
Those people seemed very afeared, and rightfully so.
And I would say, in the grand scheme of things, this covenant that he's making again did not hold up for all of history.
It did not. And I think that it's bullshit that he says these things when we know what happened later.
Right.
Like, to me, that hurts my feelings on behalf of the Jewish people.
We know, reading this, he is a fucking liar. Right. You lied. You lied just now.
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
Because you know how we know that you are a liar? Because you know everything.
Right.
And so, since you know everything, what you are saying here is false. And since you know it's false, because you do know everything per your own words, you're a liar.
Right.
Either that, or you don't know everything and you're stupid.
Right.
And you're just as clueless as we are. So which is it? Are you a liar or are you stupid?
Right.
I mean,
I don't have
non-existent.
Yeah, non-existent is definitely the one.
Which means that man did it, which means stupid.
Yes.
And liar, but
Correct.
mostly stupid.
I mean, you can't lie about what you don't actually know.
No, but they lied a lot by saying God wrote it.
Sure. Yes, that is true.
And they just lied a bunch of other times too.
Yeah.
I just know they did.
No,
because humans lie.
Right.
But man is stupid.
Yes.
Terror will be far removed. It will not come near you except in the Holocaust later. If anyone does attack you, it'll not be my doing. Whoever attacks you will surrender to you. Did that happen?
No.
I don't think that happened.
No, that did not happen.
See, it is I who created the blacksmith who fans the coals into the flame and forges a weapon fit for its work.
Okay.
And it is I who have created the destroyer to wreak havoc. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord. The end.
I see. These things were written by people who were feeling good about their current situation and how Israel was coming back to full strength.
And they were also trying to rebuild the sense of community and encourage the whole of all of the Israelites. Come back. Let's be
it's fucking propaganda, essentially.
Yeah, it is exactly propaganda.
So, and they know exactly what they're doing. I'm not going to discount. Maybe they do have some belief in God. Maybe they do actually believe what they're writing in these books. But they also have to, at the same time, know that they are lying with the words that they're writing. Yeah. Because they're literally making them up. Yeah. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't feel great about it.
No, I'm not proud as a human.
For humankind, it's not a strong point, not a strong moment.
No. Yeah. Not our best.
Right. All right. Well, that was Isaiah chapter 54.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that tomorrow on our Discord, tonight on our Discord, we'll be back with
our Discord,
which we'll be reading.
Isaiah chapter 55.
There we go.
Sorry, I was like, I don't have a jingle for that. What's happening?
No, I was looking for the one we're reading.
Sorry.
The episode we're reading.
It's just that's like it gets posted tomorrow, so I'm like used to saying tomorrow. But no, we will record it on our live Discord the same day that you hear this, assuming that you hear it the day it's posted.
If you join us, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be tonight if you join us. It'll be tomorrow if you don't. And that episode will be chapter 55.
Yeah. And, and if you are hearing this in the future, none of it applies.
Yeah, so just ignore all that.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember where the hell we are?
Well, no.
Oh. Wow, okay.
I forgot to look up where we were.
Oh my God.
I know that we just finished with all the song stuff like 2 episodes ago.
That was 53.
And then yesterday we covered 54.
Isaiah chapter 54.
I can't remember exactly what we covered. So
he compared Israel to a barren woman suddenly granted a child.
That's right. It was, yeah.
You're going to have lots of progeny, Israel.
Men speaking for women type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That was exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good on you, me.
Right, yeah. So that was Isaiah chapter 54.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today we're going to be getting into
Isaiah chapter 55.
And before we get into that, we do have one more shout out to do for a Patreon that we just picked up.
We did. We
do. Yeah. So I want to say thank you to Alan D.
Alan D for D's nuts.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Alan D.
I'm sorry, I'm not responsible for wife, but thank you so much, Alan, for becoming a patron, and we so much appreciate the support and help that you're giving us for this podcast. And
you are legit the bee's knees.
Yeah, for sure.
For shizzle.
And now that we've got that done, are you ready to get into Isaiah chapter 55?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, let's do it.
Okie dokie. All right, here we are hopping into Isaiah chapter 55.
Okay.
Come, all you who are thirsty, come to the waters.
Yeah.
Ooh, that reminds me of the movie Saltburn. I don't know if any of y'all saw it, but if you know, you know. And that's all I'm going to say.
I have not seen it, so I don't know.
Do you want to know?
Nope.
No, you really don't. And you who have no money, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without cost. What? I'm just reading the Bible.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Why spend money on what is not bread and your labor on what does not satisfy? Listen to me.
Okay.
And eat what is good, and you will delight in the richest fare. Give ear and come to me. Listen, that you may live. I will make an everlasting covenant with you. My faithful love promised to David.
Whoa,
so nice. David, that's a throwback.
Well, I mean, we've talked about David on and off.
I know, it's just
it's always the line of David or whatever.
I know, but it's always like, whoa, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
You know, like, we are that whole David guy.
Right.
See, I have made him a witness to the peoples, a ruler and commander of the peoples.
Wait, who?
The beautiful people.
The servant or the...
No, we're done
David,
with that servant.
Or what? Who are we talking about here?
His faithful love promised to David, and he made him a witness to the peoples, a ruler and commander of the peoples.
David?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't fucking know.
It's confusing.
Listen, that you may live. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's talking about David. He's like, look what I did for David, and oh, y'all.
Okay.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Got it.
It is rather questionable writing.
Yeah.
As we've mentioned before.
Sure.
Surely you will summon nations you know not, and nations you do not know will come running to you.
Okay.
Because of the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, for he has endowed you with splendor.
Is that what he endowed us with?
That's what we got.
Okay.
We are endowed.
Got it. And that's why nations are going to come running.
And if you saw Saltburn, you know. Somebody was endowed. There was a naked dance at the end. Oh, my Lord. That person was endowed. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Not while he won't be found.
Right. Yeah, don't seek him when he can't be found.
Right. Call on him while he is near.
Okay.
Let me know when that happens.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time. Let the wicked forsake their ways and the unrighteous their thoughts. Let them turn to the Lord, and he will have mercy on them, and to our God, for he will freely pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. So he's talking to all these people coming from other nations. Yeah. And he's like, y'all don't know what the fuck, and that's okay.
And he's going to pardon them, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgive you your stupidness for not being here and knowing.
Right.
Yeah. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, you fucking dumbasses. And my thoughts than your thoughts, because I'm awesome and you suck. Right?
Well,
I'm God. I'm the best.
Right. He's the Alpha and the Omega. And
they are worms.
They're Yeah, they're worms.
Listen, you mountain.
They might be worse than worms because they're not necessarily.
They're not
he's not talking about the Israelites.
That's
so
right. They're not even worms.
They're more like those like
lice. They're lice.
Yeah, there you go.
They're bed bugs.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
As the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish. Wait a minute. Hold on. They know the water cycle back then. That's what that's telling me.
Sure.
They're saying the rain and snow come down from heaven, and before the water goes back up, it first waters the earth and makes it bud and flourish. And it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater. Wow, I did not know that they understood the water cycle.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's an easy one to understand because, like, on a really hot day, when there's a puddle, it dries up. Like, it's just a thing that dries up, right?
Yeah, but to put it together that and where that water went is not just disappeared and cooked in the sun, but that it actually was absorbed back into the atmosphere.
Sure.
I'm sorry, that is a feat of knowledge that I would not have granted to these dum-dums.
Got it.
So I'm just a little impressed. That's all.
Sure.
Anyways, bread for the eater. So is my word that goes out from my mouth. So his words are like rain coming down on you and giving you stuff.
Feed us all, and then it's going to go back up to heaven.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. See?
Okay.
That was a nice analogy, actually.
It was.
I will accept that.
Yeah.
Not the words themselves, but the analogy was poetic and nice.
Sure.
I will allow it.
Sure.
You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you. The hills are alive with the sound of Griswold.
What?
That's from one of the National Lampoon movies.
Oh, they say that exactly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
I don't recall that.
I want to say it's European Vacation. I could be wrong.
Right.
Somebody will correct me. But yeah, he's having a dream like as they're flying to wherever they're flying. And I'm pretty sure it's while they're on the plane. And I'm pretty sure it's European Vacation. And he's like in his Dutch outfit and he's spinning in circles. And he's going, the hills are alive with the sound of Griswold instead of music.
Okay.
Yeah, because the mountains and hills are bursting into song before him.
Right.
And all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Just clap your hands. Instead of the thorn bush will grow the juniper. And instead of briars, the myrtle will grow. So all of that Badlands stuff that was growing for a while, it's all going to go away and all the good stuff will come back.
But wasn't that God's fault that was happening?
Yeah.
He caused that?
Yeah.
So.
And now he's like, I'm replacing it with good now.
Right.
It was
we kind of
bad,
covered this in the last episode, but like.
He's a dick?
Well, yeah. You don't get to like just be like. He's back and forth with the way he thinks about things. He's an asshole one day and he's nice the next day. And then he wants credit for being nice that one day. And it's like, what if we don't want to give it to you?
Yeah.
And then he's turned into an asshole again. So.
It's the narcissist.
Right.
Yeah. This will be for the Lord's renown, for an everlasting sign that will endure forever. The end.
Yeah.
Do you think it endured forever?
No, it will not endure forever.
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So yeah, just more empty promises from God and bullshit statements that are somewhat poetic.
Yeah.
But
I did like the phrasing of the stupidity.
Right, yeah. But I don't think we have a lot to add to that, do you?
No.
Okay. It was a very, very simple next episode.
I mean,
next,
it was
next
only
chapter.
It was only 13 verses.
Yeah,
you know, what
not
you
much
gonna
we
do?
can say.
No.
So that was Isaiah chapter 55.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that we'll be back tomorrow with
Isaiah chapter 56.
All right, we'll see you guys then.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember where the hell we are and what happened?
Well, God had a bunch of people coming to him.
They were all coming.
Yeah.
Come!
And he's going to promise real hard that he's never going to fuck everybody over again. This time for real.
You said
like for
hard.
real.
Yeah, he's not a
He
liar.
means it this time, though.
Yeah, he does.
He's for real.
And you should always trust somebody who's broken lots of promises.
Yeah, that always makes a lot of sense to people
Yeah.
who want to trust somebody.
Yeah.
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 So that was Isaiah chapter 55.
Sure as fuck was.
And today we're going to be getting into
Isaiah chapter 56.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so here we are hopping into Isaiah chapter 56.
Okay.
This is what the Lord says.
Is it?
It is. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Maintain justice and do what is right.
Sounds like a plan.
For my salvation is close at hand, and my righteousness will soon be revealed.
He's promising us it's close.
Mhm,
You just gotta. It's right there, guys.
Yeah.
Just hang on.
My righteousness will soon be. It has not been revealed up until now.
Yeah.
You have not seen my righteousness.
Correct, but soon, any day now.
So, husband, you and I were not wrong when we said God is not a righteous dude.
Right, because he was not. He hasn't revealed it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So up until now, when we were like, he's such a dick, we were actually right.
Right, because he just hasn't been righteous yet.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
It's coming soon, though.
Right. Just trust him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blessed is the one who does this, the person who holds it fast, who keeps the Sabbath without desecrating it, and keeps their hands from doing any evil.
Ah. What? Define evil for me, though. What exactly does evil mean?
I bet it has to do with gayosity.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Like,
I mean,
everybody hates the gays, and they shouldn't.
Look, we all know the big points of evil. Don't murder people.
Right.
Don't rape. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
murder and rape has run rampant through the Bible, though. So
right, yeah.
Are those things that we all agree are evil?
I'm just saying that from what we've read, even in the Bible,
mm-hmm.
the idea of what is evil
mm-hmm.
is questionable in my mind.
That's what I just said.
And I don't really know how to take that exactly.
Don't be evil, and it's like I hope that whatever I'm doing or not doing lives by your definition.
Right, today. Maybe not tomorrow.
Because only you get to decide what's evil, and you are a persnickety fuck.
Only you can prevent God's wrath.
Right.
Not forest fires.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Yeah. I followed.
I just was making sure.
I just didn't think it was
I realized
that funny.
It was vague. Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize for being dumb.
I wasn't calling you dumb. Holy shit, that escalated quickly. Let no foreigner who is bound to the Lord say, the Lord will surely exclude me from his people.
But haven't they said that before?
Yeah.
I mean, like...
literally, 2 chapters ago or something.
Well, no, but I mean, early on, during Moses' time, they didn't accept people from outside, and all of a sudden, now we're accepting people from outside.
Now we're accepting people from outside.
Okay.
But also, yes, just a few chapters ago, they were like, I feel like you divorced me, God. And so God is, reminding people who might feel that way, no, I didn't.
Right.
And, don't feel like you're going to be excluded just because you're not part of my people.
Yeah, right. Well, he's kind of fucked over his people so often at this point.
Yeah. They've
been scattered to the wind, so who knows who is his people and who isn't his people anymore.
True.
They could be the foreigners at this point because they've been so intermixed over all kinds of different areas because he has thrown them to the winds 500 different times.
Like kisses in the wind.
Something like that, yeah.
Blowing kisses in the wind. Paula Abdul.
Yes, I am aware of the song, yes.
And let no eunuch complain, I'm only a dry tree. Okay, I have a thing to say about this. I know.
What?
So, our translation says eunuch.
Yes.
But other translations, like the King James version,
says
outcast.
Okay.
So, eunuchs are outcasts. And I don't know if you recall early in Leviticus, eunuchs were not allowed to partake of any of the...
Yeah, they couldn't participate in the ceremonies and stuff like that.
Right, the ceremonial stuff, because they're eunuchs, and if your wiener ain't intact fully, except only partially...
Right.
Fully, but minus the foreskin. You have to have your dick, but only part of your dick.
Okay.
Your dick's got to be just
right.
Just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither missing nor overly full.
You got to have the Goldilocks dick.
Yeah, the Goldilocks dick.
Right.
In that particular case, then you can partake of the ceremonies. Otherwise, no.
Got it.
And so they're like, womp womp, I am not allowed to partake of the ceremonies. So also because I'm a eunuch, I cannot have children.
Sure.
Right? And so that's what it means to be a dry tree. I'm like, the branches are withering. I'm not going to have any offspring.
Because you can't enjoy life unless you have children, apparently.
You have to be able to fuck.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to be able to fuck. Moreover, you have to be able to fuck women because you're a man. And men can only fuck women.
Look, I'm not saying that sex isn't enjoyable, but I'm just saying, like, to base your entire being on sex and to make that all that a person is.
What else is there?
Is kind of shit.
What else is there? There's only sex. Didn't you know that?
There's a lot more than sex.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
Okay. That might be true.
Right.
That might actually... You know what else there is? There's stickers.
There are stickers, yeah.
I fucking love stickers. And also Sharpies. Oh my God. And you know what? My Afghan. I love Afghans.
Right,
yeah.
right.
There are things besides sex.
There
my
are.
God, there's books. I love reading books.
Books are pretty cool.
You know what else is really cool?
What is?
TV shows. Like
Yeah.
binging TV shows.
Sure.
Like I love... whether you're with me or not, I prefer you to be with me, but even if you're not with me, I fucking love binging a good TV show.
Right.
I fucking love binging a mediocre TV show. How about that?
You sure do.
Yeah.
You sure do.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. There are things besides sex. These people should get a fucking clue.
And a Netflix account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Anyway, eunuchs are dry trees.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
But for this is what the Lord says to the eunuchs, a.k.a. outcasts.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
To the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths, who choose what pleases me and hold fast to my covenant, to them I will give within my temple and its walls a memorial and a name better than sons and daughters.
Huh.
So my name in your mouth is better than having kids. Is what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, you just need God.
Yeah.
That's all.
You don't need children. I mean, have children, but...
But God's better.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Deal with it.
He's basically like giving him a consolation prize. Well, you don't get to have kids, but you do get to have this fancy certificate in the Dollar Tree frame that has my name on it.
Right.
My name on it.
Yeah.
Not your name, my name. I did personally autograph this picture of me, which you may have.
Right.
Yeah. I will give them an everlasting name that will endure forever, and foreigners who bind themselves to the Lord to minister to him, to love the name of the Lord, and to be his servants, all who keep the Sabbath without desecrating it, and who hold fast to my covenant, these I will bring to my holy mountain and give them joy in my house of prayer.
Yeah. Okay.
See? So
right.
You still get to go to heaven.
Wait, so eunuchs now get to go to the house of prayer and like they get to participate. And
well,
foreigners.
He's saying his house of prayer.
Okay.
So I think that's separate from the house of prayer. I think he's saying you can still go to heaven even though you're missing your dick.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think he's saying.
All right.
I could be wrong.
Whatever heaven means in the OT.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's saying you can still call yourself part of my crew.
Sure.
You just, you have to stand in the back.
He's become more accepting.
Even as he's become more of a dick.
Well, yeah. I what I meant is he seems to be accepting people from other walks of life that he didn't earlier in the Bible when we were reading it.
It's almost like as the politics of the times change.
Yeah.
That
he
they
changes.
adapt.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost
It's
like
interesting.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be accepted on my altar. No, you were
See,
right.
I was right. Yeah,
you were right.
Right.
For my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations.
See, he has changed his mind.
He's like, why would I turn away your prayers and your incense?
I mean, I
stuff?
questioned that before, but
right? Like, it's like he had to think about it, and he's like, hang on. I'm cutting off my own nose to spite my face.
It's like society thought of it. And they're like,
Right.
hey, you know what? These fuckers give us money to sacrifice shit.
Uh-huh.
So if we let them all do it, they'll give us more money.
They're begging us to be allowed to give us shit.
Right.
We will magnanimously say yes, and we will allow you pieces of shit, you worms, if you will,
Right.
to give us stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so nice of them.
But it's for God.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's what I meant.
Obviously, it's not for the priests that are taking it.
Right.
They're going to obviously give that to God.
Somebody's got to pay the electric bill.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Somebody's got to keep the lights on.
Totally.
Yeah. The sovereign Lord declares, he who gathers the exiles of Israel, I will gather still others to them besides those already gathered.
So he's
spreading out. He's
going to bring more.
Yeah.
There's going to be the exiles, whoever's gathering those guys. There's going to be more.
Yeah.
They're going to keep coming.
Come. Come, actually, is the next line. Yeah, nice. That's funny because I wasn't looking down when I said my come. Come, all you beasts of the field. Come and
Did
devour.
You say beasts of the field?
Beasties.
Okay, all right.
All you beasts of the forest. So beasts of the field and beasts of the forest.
Yeah.
Israel's watchmen are blind. They all lack knowledge. They are all mute dogs. They cannot bark. They lie around and dream. They love to sleep.
Wait, what?
They are dogs with mighty appetites. They never have enough. I don't know.
We made a drastic turn here to something.
Who are Israel's watchmen and why is he knocking them?
Right.
They are shepherds who lack understanding. They all turn to their own way. They seek their own gain. Come, each one cries, let me get wine. Let us drink our fill of beer, and tomorrow will be like today, or even far better. The end.
Oh, okay. Like,
okay,
we were welcoming everybody in, and then all of a sudden we're like, and the watchmen suck, guys.
Maybe he's saying like, I am God, and I am telling you to let these exiles in, even though.
And they're not paying attention.
Yeah, even though the watchmen are like saying, no, exiles, get out.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think that makes sense, but I feel like that one's going to need some clarification.
Me too.
Because I don't understand that. It was like a complete change of what we were talking about, just out of the blue.
Out of the blue, yeah.
So
I agree.
That was really weird.
It was weird.
But
I will try to
dig into that.
Find some explanation.
Okay.
What the fuck did you mean by that, God?
Right, yeah, I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was Isaiah chapter 56.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that tomorrow we will be back with
Isaiah chapter 57.
All right, we'll see you guys then.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you remember what happened yesterday and where the hell we are?
Well, as I recall, we read Isaiah chapter 56 yesterday.
We did.
And in that chapter, I believe God was pretty nice and just talking about shit until he got to the watchmen at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, they suck.
Yeah.
They aren't on guard. They're doing shitty.
Yeah.
Watch them watchmen.
And he's like, welcome outcasts and eunuchs and get in here.
Right, yeah. It was like this more inclusive version of Yahweh that we hadn't really, that we're just now starting to experience.
Right.
Like, it's still, fucking all over the place with regard to whether he's going to redeem people or kill them. But, he's being more inclusive with more people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, I guess.
Right.
So
still kind of.
Yeah. But that was Isaiah chapter 56.
It was. Which
means that today we're reading
Isaiah chapter 57.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, so we're about to hop into Isaiah chapter 57.
Okay.
But I am an asshole. I forgot to mention something yesterday, which is actually very important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Chapter 56 from yesterday.
Yeah, the one we just read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is the first chapter of the final section of the book of Isaiah.
Oh, I see.
Often referred to as Trito Isaiah.
Okay.
Okay.
And what is there something in particular that sets this apart or that's different about it?
It's either written by a different author or at a different time or both.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Right.
So,
but yes,
but
it is.
Something separates it,
yes.
Which we might get into more in our Q&A possibly.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely
since we didn't prep real well for that.
Right. Yeah, I meant to say it yesterday. It's in my notes. I just somehow got distracted and well, you know how I am.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm an asshole. That's my bad. I take that.
Okay.
Oops.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are in the end bits now of Isaiah.
I mean, awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm so sick of him. Seriously. All right, ready?
Proto, Deutero, and all,
Trito.
and Trito and all.
Yeah. The righteous perish.
They
Okay.
do?
They
Wait,
do.
the righteous perish.
And no one takes it to heart. Okay?
Okay.
The devout are taken away, and no one understands that the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil.
Oh, how convenient. They didn't die because they were unlucky. They died because we're sparing them.
Yeah. The reason that you lost somebody, don't mourn them. They had to die because you suck.
Right. They were actually righteous. It's all okay. It's all okay.
It's okay.
They're spared now.
Yeah.
They're in that wonderful place. You know the wonderful place? No, I don't. I don't know the wonderful place.
No.
Do you know the wonderful place?
I also do not know that wonderful place.
I don't either.
I'm sure that religious people would be like, and there's a reason for that.
But because people die, people want to believe in it real bad.
I know. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's be fair for a minute.
Sure.
Who doesn't want to believe in their deepest heart of hearts that their loved ones, if they are in some kind of afterlife, are still somewhere and are happy?
Sure. It's a beautiful, wonderful, poetic thought that you could have in your head. It is.
I mean, when you think of your grandmother, is it more comforting to think of her as dead, gone forever, just rotting body in the dirt? Or is it, sometimes does it enter your head, well, if there is a heaven, I do hope she's up there?
That actually never, and I'm being honest here, that never crosses my mind. What I think of when I think of my grandparents in general that have passed away, I think of the things that I loved about them and what I miss about them and how we interacted and the things about them that really, shined. One of my grandpas would take us canoeing, and I really miss that. And he said good night a lot, like not good night, like good night, like as a cuss word, you know? And I love that. Those are the things I miss, And my grandma, she cooked. Holy shit, she cooked. It was great. It was so good. Always good. I don't know. I could go on all day. But it's the things I remember about people that make them still there for me. They're viscerally there in my memories. And I don't need anything more than that. I'm happy to remember them for who they were and how they affected my life.
Well, what if you lost a child?
Again, I hope that I would have the strength to remember them for who they were and how they affected my life. I want to remember the things that were positive, that were good, that were meaningful. Those are the things that I want to remember. And again, as you said, it's very easy to want to have them be somewhere else that is wonderful and good, right?
To still be, and then for that being to be good.
Right. But the truth of the matter is the only thing that I really know, the only thing I can viscerally hold on to is the fact that they lived at some point and I knew them and they were a good person to me and they affected my life. That's the only part that I know. And that's the only part that I truly, truly care about, because it's the only part that makes an impact on my life, that changes who I am. That part where they were alive, that part where they lived, that was the part that made me somebody different, that affected my life, that made me who I am.
Got it.
So.
All right. Well, I was just saying, I could see how people would find it comforting, though.
And again, I don't disparage that. I understand that want, that need to have them be somewhere else, somewhere still able to be thought of, still able to be maybe see what you're doing. You want that. You don't want your loved ones to go away ever. But I feel like the stronger way to remember somebody is for who they were and how they affected you. That to me is the real remembering, the real living on forever, the real, if you tell a story to somebody about this person, that story continues, just tell the story.
Right.
You really want them to live on.
Right.
So
I will say that when I think of people who have been close to me that have died, I generally don't think of the afterlife either, because most of the people that have been close to me that have died have not been like super, super close.
Sure.
Like, I'm sad that they died, and that's pretty much as far as my thinking of their death goes. So much as that, kind of like you, I think just of the person.
You say that in a way that seems to leave open the idea that if somebody was closer to you, you'd want to believe differently.
No, I'm saying that because I can't speak to that with experience.
Okay. All right.
It's not a desire. It's I don't know how I will feel if somebody super, super close to me were to pass away. I don't know how I think I would probably still just think of the person. I would like to think that, but
sure.
I've not experienced that kind of loss that
right.
I can recall, you know?
Sure.
I mean, I have miscarried, and toward that end, I guess that's something I could speak to, but I don't think of that as an afterlife. I don't think of, I don't know.
I mean, I flat out don't believe in the afterlife.
Right.
And so that's not something that enters my brain.
Right.
And I have the advantage of never really having believed in an afterlife other than maybe a childhood fantasy.
Right.
You know, like that was the extent of my belief in an afterlife, was something that I heard from other people when I was much, much younger. But as an adult and as a young adult, I've never entertained that as a real possibility.
I didn't know it to be. Like, I didn't know about it. So
Right.
it wouldn't have been something that I thought about as somebody who was younger. And by the time it was introduced to me as even an idea, it was too late for that to take hold.
Sure.
Because it sounds silly.
Right, right.
So I don't mean that in a mean way. Like,
right.
I
don't begrudge anybody for feeling that way about their loved ones, because it is a beautiful thought. I don't have the room in my brain to accept that or allow for that, because it's just not something that exists in my brain.
Right.
I've never known that idea that they're somewhere else, and I honestly don't think, having not grown up with that idea implanted in my brain, I don't know that I could really wrap my head around it. You know, like, it doesn't really hold a lot of meaning or sense to me.
I think the reason that I even am talking about this topic is because I am speaking from the outside, in that I was never introduced to the notion of an afterlife until I was a teenager, and by then it was kind of too late.
Right.
And, you know, the second point being that I haven't lost somebody that I was close to on a regular basis to miss them enough to want that to be a thing. So between those 2 points, I feel very much like I don't know that I can properly comment on it, because I don't have that experience that you with your grandparents, or you growing up in a religious community, might have. Like, I don't have either of those points.
I feel like knowing you, and I'm sorry we're going off on a tangent here.
No, that's what the show's about, right?
I feel like knowing you, that you don't believe in God, you don't believe in an afterlife. I feel like your rationality would win out in the end, and you would not think of, you know, someone you loved that was close to you in the afterlife. It would just, I don't feel like there's a need for it. I don't understand the need for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because really what afterlife is you remember, you most of the time what I hear from people when they speak of the afterlife, they're speaking of their loved one as they remember them still, but in another place.
Waiting to hug you when you get there.
Right.
Like, that's like when my mom talks about the afterlife, she always talks about people that she loves and misses, her parents, and how she can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand that concept.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I can't wait to see them.
Well, and because we can't allow for growth in another place that we know nothing about, those people that are quote unquote in heaven or whatever, they never grow. It's the same person you knew when they were alive.
Right.
Always. Whenever anybody is speaking about that person, it's always the same person. So the memories that you hold of that person are just as effective, in my opinion, as the idea of heaven.
You know what that concept reminds me of? the Disney, this is way off on a tangent, the Disney movie Sleeping Beauty, where the baby is hidden away, Aurora is hidden away in a cottage in the woods with the 3 fairies, right? Mm-hmm. And for 16 years, they've kept her hidden away safely. And the witch is sending her minions out to find this child, right? And then right before Aurora's 16th birthday, the witch discovers that her minions are still looking for a baby. Like, they did not know to be looking for every year a child that had aged.
Right.
And that's
out of sight, out of mind.
Right. Like, that's exactly the concept that that brought to mind for mm-hmm. me. You know, the not aging and the staying the same. And yeah. Okay, let's get back on topic here. That was like a wild tangent that came out of nowhere.
Right.
Okay, so those who walk uprightly enter into peace. They find rest as they lie in death.
Okay.
So
sure.
They go to the heaven, I guess.
Something like that.
Sure. But you, come here, you children of a sorceress.
Damn, they're sorceresses.
You offspring of adulterers and prostitutes.
Oh, man.
That's mean to children.
Right. What is they didn't have anything to say about that. Right? That's like, you remember how it was just on the verge of not being a real insult when we were younger, but like calling someone a bastard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I never understood, like, even when I was younger, I'm like, so what? That's the kid had nothing to do with that. It wasn't their fucking fault.
You bastard. Like, you person who was born out of wedlock. Right? Wait, what? Sorry?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do it.
Let me crawl back into the fucking womb? I don't know.
Who are you mocking? This is
yeah.
Talking to the bad children.
Right, the people that were born of adulterers and sorcerers and stuff.
And prostitutes.
Yeah.
Who are you mocking? At whom do you sneer and stick out your tongue?
Why are they doing that?
Are you not a brood of rebels, the offspring of liars?
Wow, that is just so presumptuous of...
Bad begets bad.
And I have to believe that being how old the Bible is, like, there were classes, right? And if you were an adulterer, quote unquote, or a sorcerer, for God's sakes, that you belong to some sort of fucking subclass of people to begin with. So you were not allowed to become better,
right?
And therefore, why not stick your goddamn tongue out of people?
Right?
Fuck you, you know?
Like, oh no, you're gonna label me something bad that I was already labeled just by being fucking born and living here.
Yeah.
Yuck.
It's your own fucking fault.
Yeah, I would stick my tongue out.
Yeah.
I do stick my tongue out. Yeah. You burn with lust among the oaks and under every spreading tree. You sacrifice your children in the ravines and under the overhanging crags.
I'm not down with that.
No,
don't sacrifice your kids. Don't
do that, guys. Yeah. Come on, stop Stop with the child sacrifice. Not cool. The idols among the smooth stones of the ravines are your portion. Indeed, they are your lot. Yes, to them you have poured out drink offerings and offered grain offerings. In view of all this, should I relent?
I don't know.
Well, you're God, so maybe you should relent.
Yeah, you were very...
I bet if you showed them love, love begets love.
Right.
I bet if you were nice to them and gave them a fucking chance in life.
It's almost like he started to learn, like bringing the eunuchs in and the outcasts or whatever the fuck they were or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like he started to learn, but he didn't get the full picture.
Yeah.
He's like...
But not the children of prostitutes, though. You guys that got your dicks cut off, you can come in, but not you children of prostitutes.
Right, yeah.
None of that, please.
Definitely no sorceresses.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have made your bed on a high and lofty hill. There you went up to offer your sacrifices.
Okay.
Behind your doors and your doorposts, you have put your pagan symbols. Okay. That's where I put my pagan symbols. Forsaking me, you uncovered your bed. You climbed into it and opened it wide. That sounds like you made your bed, now you got to lie in it.
It sounds to me like they're talking about having sex, but...
Oh. Forsaking me, you uncovered your bed. You climbed into it and opened it wide.
Opened it wide.
Yeah. Okay.
Like leaving the bed open, not just crawling into bed, but opening it wide.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and he was just talking about adulterous people
Got
and
it.
shit like
Okay.
that. So
You made a pact with those whose beds you love. Yeah, you were right.
see?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and you looked with lust on their naked bodies.
I mean, as you do.
I was gonna say, when I have sex, I look on my partner with lust. I mean,
I don't think that's really abnormal.
Right? Like, you're having sex.
Right.
You should look at your partner with lust.
Yeah.
If you are not feeling lusty when you are doing the sex, don't do the sex, because, you deserve to feel lusty.
One of the things I never understood, how some of the purity culture that's out there with Christianity and stuff, but like butt stuff's okay. What the fuck's up with that?
It's not. It's not okay.
Well, but like
the loophole,
it's better.
The poop hole loophole.
It's better than the other version of sex, right?
Well, but it is, but it isn't. See, you're not supposed to do that,
right?
But it's bad.
But if you're gonna do something,
yeah,
that's the one you should do.
It's the poop hole loophole,
right? Yeah. I'm like, you guys are being really fucking dumb.
I mean, okay, so we've talked about, what is it, soaking, I think?
Right,
where the girl lays on the bed and the boy lays on top of her ready to go. And the friends who are all there jump up and down on the bed so that when his penis enters her, it's not really his fault. It's not his fault or her fault. Yeah. What can we do?
Yeah.
We were just
for the record, guys, this is not a good idea if you want to keep from having, babies.
Yeah.
And still be in the purity culture thing.
I don't know whom amongst you has not had sex ed, but it's still sex. That is still sex.
Correct.
When a penis enters a vagina or other orifice, that is sex.
Right.
And it could lead to pregnancy.
It definitely could, yeah.
So don't do it if you're not.
Just in case anybody listening doesn't know that.
Look, if you're just going to have sex, have sex. And if you're going to have sex, let it be lusty. That's all I'm saying.
Do it safely.
And do it safely and consensual.
Right.
My God.
Yes.
I don't know why.
We've talked about death and sex ed. And we're going all over the fucking place with this chapter.
I don't know why my brain is just all over the place. You went to Molech with olive oil and increased your perfumes. You sent your ambassadors far away. You descended to the very realm of the dead. Ooh, first you went up high, then you went down low. You went on the mountains and sacrificed your kids, and then you went down to the dead.
And you remember how they said we'd never hear Molech's name again because they weren't going to mention him ever again?
Right?
That's weird.
Now, yeah, that is strange. That is very strange. You wearied yourself by going about, you wearied yourself by such going about, but you would not say, it is hopeless. You found renewal of your strength, and so you did not faint. I didn't faint either.
Okay. Yeah.
There are a few times in my life when I have fainted.
Have you?
Yes. When my sister was getting a shot, I used to be so squeamish that I just, I think it's because I have such an active imagination.
Yeah.
Like, I can picture some things, and I say some things because there's other things that I cannot hold images of.
Right.
Whatever, that's a different topic. But a needle going into skin is like so offensive to me.
Yeah.
That because it's piercing you.
Right.
And so, I passed out. I fainted. Another time I fainted was when my son got his ears pierced.
Ah.
I fainted.
I see.
Yeah. I'm a lot better now.
I think I blacked out once on a roller coaster.
Oh, really?
Just for like a second, but yeah, it was like a loop-de-loop type thing.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like I'm pretty sure I blacked out for just like a second, like right at the top of the loop.
Oh, wow.
So.
Have you seen those videos of people, like they get into the ball and the ball, like the ball catapults into the sky, right?
Yeah.
And then it when it falls down slowly or whatever, like it's on a stretch wire. Sure. And there are videos of people that they keep passing out all the way down, but they don't know, so they keep waking up and passing out again. And like they literally stop breathing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it's crazy. You haven't seen those videos?
Not that no.
Okay, well, I'll have to send you some.
Sure.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? God's still talking
Is he?
about
Okay.
fainting and whatever.
All right.
Whom have you so dreaded and feared that you have not been true to me and have neither remembered me nor taken this to heart? Is it not because I have long been silent that you do not fear me? You just answered your own question.
Right?
Yeah. You've been silent. You turned your back on them.
Right.
You said so.
Yeah.
That is why they haven't feared you. You stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
And the only person telling them about you is some crazy fucking dude named Isaiah.
Who ran around naked a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will expose your righteousness and your works, and they will not benefit you.
Okay.
Okay. When you cry out for help, let your collection of idols save you. That is not nice.
Because you've done such a great job, right?
Right?
You're killing off the people that are righteous. You're like, I'm going to save them by killing them.
Right?
And what? Like this makes no fucking... This chapter makes no fucking sense.
No.
Like, he's literally saying, I'm going to save people by killing them. I'm going to kill you for not having been saved. Or, like, what?
Basically, I'm going to kill everybody
willy-nilly. Right, I just like murder, basically. That's
which
that
tracks.
Yeah.
That fucking tracks. The wind will carry all of them off. A mere breath will blow them away. But whoever takes refuge in me will inherit the land and possess my holy mountain. Unless they die first. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
And it will be said.
Will it?
Build up. Prepare the road. Remove the obstacles out of the way of my people.
Okay.
For this is what the high and exalted one says. He who lives forever, whose name is holy. He says, I live in a high and holy place, but also with the one who is contrite and lowly in spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the contrite. But, not them prostitutes.
Yeah.
Kids.
They're
they're too fucking lowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you worship Moloch, it's right out.
Yeah, fuck you. Also, if you're on your period, go away. I can't with you. Yeah. I will not accuse them forever, nor will I always be angry, for then they would faint away because of me, the very people I have created. You wishy-washy waffle and fuck.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's bad.
Yeah.
He's bad.
I was enraged by their sinful greed. I punished them and hid my face in anger, yet they kept on in their willful ways. I have seen their ways, but I will heal them. I will guide them and restore comfort to Israel's mourners, creating praise on their lips. Whee!
You literally hid from people.
Right.
Because they were...
You were so mad.
What the... Okay. All right. Sorry.
Peace to those far and near, says the Lord, and I will heal them. Will you, or will you kill them?
I don't know.
Who knows? Who can know, right? It could go either fucking way.
That's just it. Like, I feel like they're leaving this open to interpret. Like, you could interpret anything that happens to anybody as any number of things because they've left it open to all of the possibilities in any given instance.
If you live and you're good, it's because I wanted you to live because you're good.
Right.
If you die but you're good, it's because I wanted to save you from all the bad.
Right.
If you live because even though you were bad, then I was using you as a tool for somebody. If you're bad and you die, well, of course you had it coming.
Right.
Like,
yeah, there is no, you can, literally anything can happen.
Right.
And you can attribute God to it according to the Bible.
Right.
That we've read so far.
Yep.
Everything is covered.
Yep.
And it's bullshit.
And everything is covered because nothing is covered.
Right. Because it's bullshit. Because it's absolute bullshit.
Nonsensical. But the wicked are like the tossing sea, which cannot rest, whose waves cast up mire and mud. There is no peace, says my God, for the wicked. The end. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees.
All right. Well.
You never let me sing.
Well, I mean,
we did go off on tangents. It's fine.
Yeah. So that was Isaiah chapter 57.
Sure as fuck was.
And that means that we'll be back tomorrow with
Isaiah 58 in the Trito Isaiah section of this book.
Actually, hold on a second.
Oh, shit.
Today is Friday.
It sure as fuck is.
So actually, tomorrow we'll be back with
Q&A Saturday.
And I apologize.
Yeah,
I was not paying attention.
You fucked me up.
Well, I'm used to ending, like, we got screwed up earlier in Isaiah.
Yeah.
And we started ending on
non-multiple
denominations of 5.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of fucked up.
Off.
Yeah, I was off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Friday, so tomorrow's Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So Q&A
Q&A Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Husband.
Wife.
Do you know what we're doing today?
Well, it's Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that we're doing
Q&A Saturday.
And what are we Qing and Aing today?
We are talking about Watchmen, and we are also talking about trees.
Trees?
Yeah.
Okay. I know I was curious about the Watchmen because that was just out of the fucking blue.
It was, but that is not as interesting as the trees.
Okay. I am intrigued.
Okay.
Are you ready to answer some questions?
I am ready to answer some questions.
Let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, so we are doing Q&A Saturday over chapters 53 through 57 of Isaiah.
Okay.
And before I answer the question about the Watchmen, what I would like to do is go back a minute, because chapter 57, which is where we kind of start seeing the Watchmen, is a continuation of chapter 56.
Right.
And those are the beginning of the last part of the book of Isaiah.
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, because there's just a couple of things that bear mentioning.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as I said, chapter 56 is the first chapter of the final section of the book of Isaiah, often referred to as Trito Isaiah.
All right.
Okay. And the first part of that chapter talks about a promise for those outside the borders of Israel. It's called her righteousness for people who don't live in Israel. Like, God is talking to all of the outsiders who are outside the borders.
Right. That's where he was like mentioning like the eunuchs and the foreigners and stuff like that.
The foreigners first, and then the eunuchs and outcasts. Yeah.
Right.
So part of verse 1 says, "Maintain justice and do what is right, for my salvation is close at hand and my righteousness will soon be revealed." And this message is directed to God's discouraged people who have slacked in obedience and righteousness.
Okay.
They see no reason to repent as long as things keep looking down.
Right.
They're like, I'm bummed.
It's bad,
this sucks.
Whatever.
Yeah. And God is calling them to keep justice, to do the righteousness, and keep doing good in anticipation of what he will do. We kind of talked about this in that episode, that it's like, do you trust somebody who keeps breaking promises?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
He's like, don't look at my history. Trust what I'm telling you about what will
believe
happen.
me, it will happen.
Yeah. So then,
even though I'm not talking directly to you.
Right. I'm talking through a wild naked man.
Right. And you have no way of actually knowing.
Because there's lots of prophets running around claiming they speak my words.
Not only lots of prophets, but there's lots of fucking gods.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck am I supposed to listen to?
You don't know.
Right.
So then right after that, he is talking about a promise for the foreigner and the eunuch, which is the outcast.
Sure.
And verses 4 and 5 say, "To the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths, who choose what pleases me and hold fast to my covenant, to them I will give within my temple and its walls a memorial and a name better than sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that will endure forever." So we mentioned at the time that this was interesting because it completely undid what had been stated in Leviticus, that eunuchs could not enter the temples.
Yeah, they're expanding their walls. They're expanding their reach. Yeah.
And even though we mentioned that, we didn't take in exactly how big a fucking deal that is.
Okay.
This presages the passing of the dominance of the Levitical order itself.
Oh.
Because, it was the Levites who were supposed to be the only ones able to
be in the temple
and do the ceremony.
Right.
And then other people could be in the temple. Well, now even the eunuchs and outcasts can.
Got it.
So this is like the beginning of the end of the Levitical order.
Okay.
Which I find very interesting. Like, I didn't put that together.
Right. Well, in this, but that idea in and of itself lends to the fact that this is a human invention.
Exactly.
That this is a human production.
Exactly.
Because if it wasn't, there'd be no reason to have the Levites in the first place.
Right.
And then make those laws and then
change them.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't
right.
make sense.
It's just a political move that changes as the politics change.
Right.
Like the politics were in such a way as that it made sense that the Levites held the power and did the thing. And then as over time they lost some of their power. Right. And the religion started spreading and become, less political and more faith-based, I guess you could say.
Sure.
It made sense for the religion to adapt.
Yeah.
And the politics changed.
Right.
So I found that so interesting. What the Bible or what apologists for the Bible say is that there seems to be a higher principle at work than the shadows of the Levitical law. And I'm like, that's so cute of you. Like, there's a higher principle at work. God can change his mind and change it because there's a higher principle at work.
So you're saying God's principle in Leviticus was lower?
Right.
Because it's all God.
Yeah.
This is all the Bible.
If one is higher, one is lower.
Right.
So what are you saying, apologist?
Yeah, that you're basically, I don't know. They have no problem throwing portions of the Bible under the bus, and then they're like, oh, that didn't matter because of this.
It mattered at the time. God knew.
Yeah.
God knew.
There was a reason.
Yeah.
But what was the reason? Why?
Right.
Why did that happen?
Exactly.
It doesn't actually make sense, guys.
No, it doesn't track at all. So the next part is a promise to judge the blind leaders of God's people. And now we're starting to head into the watchmen of the question that we had.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay.
So he starts with a word to the beasts of the field. God invites the beasts of the field to a great feast to eat up the corpses of his enemies after they lay on the field of battle.
Okay.
Which is kind of gross.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
And then we get two notes. A word about the unfaithful leaders of Judah, and then a word from the unfaithful leaders of Judah.
Okay.
And when we were reading this through, I did not differentiate those because
I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't know.
Right.
So these notes, I think, will help us understand the chapter a little bit better.
Sure.
So a word about the unfaithful leaders of Judah. This is God talking. The leaders of God's people are blind. Judgment is on the way, but they don't see it, and they don't warn God's people because they're blind. They're blind.
Right.
Yeah. They don't fulfill their purpose as watchmen.
Okay.
They are ignorant, simply sleeping. So this is about the leaders. The watchmen were the leaders who were supposed to be protecting the people, not like just the guys at the gate.
But this is one of my biggest. This is another one of my complaints, right? That the leaders, the people in charge of the regular people, they are not giving the right message according to the Bible, right? The Bible's saying these leaders of all the people of Israel are not giving the correct message. They don't understand what's going on. They're blindly doing this. They're incorrect, right?
Yeah.
So how the fuck can there be accountability? Why is God forcing accountability on people that aren't even getting the correct fucking message?
Right. Like, I'm sorry, why are you punishing the people who are just doing what they're supposed to do, following their leaders?
Right. They have no idea what's correct and what's not because there's so many counter ideas as to what is correct and what is not correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing's annoying.
I totally agree. So that was a word about them. Now we get a word from the unfaithful leaders of Judah. Here's the note that I have.
Okay.
Worse than being passively ignorant and blind. So they're not just like, whatever, God's word doesn't mean anything. They are actively wicked. As judgment approaches, they simply drink and get drunk.
Okay.
So they're not just not following the rules, they're actively breaking them. Their blind faith in progress has replaced a reasoned faith in God. They are ripe for judgment while at the same time completely unprepared for that judgment.
Okay.
But again, like, says who? You know?
Yeah, and you could compare. Let's take today, right, where preachers and pastors, they're going further and further and further to the right, right?
Yeah.
They're becoming more and more crazy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazier they are, the more attention they get and the more money they make, right?
And the more the right-wing leadership adopts that
Right.
and encourages it.
Yeah. But where the people that follow that person still think that that person is correct.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't know to distinguish between this version of what God's message is versus that version of what God's message is. They're all saying that they have God's message.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it that tells the layman, the regular person, who is correct? And how are you supposed to see for yourself who is wrong and not correct?
Like the people like my parents, you know, they think they have the right message. Well, they're not leaders. They're, as you say, laymen.
Right.
You know, why shouldn't they believe their leader?
Right.
And then me and you as atheists, like if we were to suddenly get involved with religion, which one would we choose? There's only like millions of different choices.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's as many religions as there are people because each individual person has their own faith system.
Really, that's as good of a reason as any as to not get involved in religion.
Right.
Like which one?
Exactly.
Which one do I get involved in?
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, I don't have the light switch for that.
Right.
So that is what the Watchmen thing was about. And it felt to us, because of the way it read, that it came out of nowhere. But in understanding the note from the notes better, it actually was just part of a whole message.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So then chapter 57, we get into further condemnation of Israel's idolatry.
Okay. Yep.
And don't forget.
And they started talking about Moloch again and all kinds of
Yeah,
shit.
they did.
Right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So Judah's idolatry is like spiritual adultery, and this is about Israel's feudal idolatry.
Okay.
So
they were even referencing adultery, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that basically you're cheating on God.
Right.
And it's similar to humping around.
Yeah.
And you know, put your pants back on or something.
Sure.
Put your pants on and go to church. So, in the persecution of the righteous, this is a carrying on the rebuke of Judah's leaders from the previous chapter.
Okay.
And God talks about the persecution of the righteous. In this case, it is persecution through neglect. Though the righteous were ignored and persecuted by the wicked leaders of Judah, God would not forsake them when they perished. So God is saying to those people that were still being good, even though their leaders sucked, don't worry, I got you.
Right.
And keep being good.
But I can't understand a God that can knock down an army of 185,000, but he can't knock out 5 fucking leaders.
Yeah.
You
or
know, like,
present himself to a nation and say, here I be.
Yeah.
You know?
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
So then we get into the spiritual adultery of God's people.
Okay.
The wicked among God's people made fun of the righteous, mocking them, and God heard it. Here, God challenges them by asking, whomst the fuck do you think you are to mock anyone?
Yeah.
And he starts talking about how you guys came from sinners and you're all sinners.
Right. Because they were from sorceresses and all that
prostitutes,
other shit.
But also every single one of us is born of sin.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
We're born into the world already a sinner.
Yeah, whatever.
And so who the fuck do you think you are to make fun of anybody?
Right.
So here's where we're going to start getting into the trees. Okay? I know you're kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about, wife?
Yeah, no, I don't recall trees, but okay.
Well, that's because they mentioned them, but it was just so part of a larger sentence and not like something that stuck out. Okay. So, because I didn't notice it either.
Sure.
After I read this, I'm going to explain to you exactly how I stumbled accidentally upon this.
Okay.
Okay. So, verse 5 in chapter 57 says, you burn with lust among the oaks and under every spreading tree.
Ah, yeah.
You sacrifice your children in the ravines and under the overhanging crags.
Okay.
So that's our interpretation. The King James Version says, offspring of falsehood, inflaming yourselves with gods under every green tree, slaying the children in the valleys.
Okay.
So very similar, but not the same.
Yeah.
The every green tree, under every green tree, for some reason it sounded familiar to me. It sounded like it was a book title. And so I started looking up Under Every Green Tree to see if that was a book title, because I was like, if it's not, I'm writing that down in my list of would make a great book title someday.
Right.
Like, I actually have a list of those things that they
would
sound
love to
cool.
make yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know what it would be about, but it would be called Under Every Green Tree.
Right.
That's how I accidentally stumbled upon this.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, God says that the people are hot with passion for other gods, worshiping them in the ritual worship places of Canaanite paganism. Okay. Under these trees, right?
Yeah.
A green tree or an evergreen, and I promise I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
Was a place of such idolatry because the evergreen spoke of constant fertility.
Well, and that was a pagan symbol, wasn't it? So, like there's a lot of Christians that rail against the Christmas tree because
that's where I'm going with this.
Part of like Saturnalia and just like that whole pagan side of it.
Yeah. So there is no Christmas tree in the Bible, but there are plenty of pagan rites that took place underneath evergreen trees that they decorated. So the Christmas tree, yes, indeed, is actually very pagan. It wasn't just that they danced around it and decorated it, and that was evil because they're doing they're doing idolatry there.
Right.
They actually were performing lewd and lascivious acts under these trees.
Right.
And, sacrificing their children under these trees, all kinds of sex and bestiality under these trees.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the evergreen itself is a tree of idolatry.
Okay.
In chapter 40, Isaiah spoke of workmen melting a graven image. We kind of talked about that. The goldsmith spreading it over with gold and casting iron chains to decorate the tree for the ritual.
Huh.
That is part of the decorating of that tree. And we didn't put it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. It's so mixed in with other stuff that it's not the most important detail that sticks out. But when he was talking about melting down gold and making these idols,
it's so funny to me that like, I mean, how much of the Bible have they talked about getting rid of other gods and getting rid of idols and all this crap, right? Mm-hmm. But what still exists in Christianity today?
All the idols and all of the false gods.
It's been incorporated into the fucking religion because apparently they just could never shake them.
They could not get rid of them. And that's how we chose the day, December 25th, because it fell at the same time or around about the same time as other celebrations, Saturnalia being one of them.
Right.
And instead of destroying pagan temples, they rebuilt them. They built over them as churches.
Right.
And, temples of celebration and stuff like that.
But it's just like this, they go through so much in the Bible to say, we're going to destroy and never say again any of these things, right? Mm-hmm. And they still, thousands of years later, they still exist.
Yeah.
They still exist as part of their own fucking religion.
Yeah. Even though the Bible says no, we've adopted it.
Yeah.
And Christmas trees were actually banned in several American cities in New England.
Yeah.
In the early years of America because they were pagan.
Right.
And so,
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah. I probably have too, but I just talking about these trees and the decorations and how they're like, stop doing that. Yeah. It just made me laugh. And, we're just coming out of the Christmas season. So I was like, it's not too late to talk about Christmas trees. It's never too late to talk about fucking
There's
pagans.
Still snow. I mean, we just had snow. So, yeah.
Just had. It's still snowing.
Well, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So several Catholic academics expressed support for the notion that Christmas is simply a reimagining of ancient pagan celebrations.
Okay.
So, I mean, there have been academics who are in religion who have talked about,
right, but saying that is I mean,
and how do you feel about that is the next question,
right? How do you reconcile that against what the Bible says about paganism, about idols, about other religions, about other gods? How do you reconcile that and then still treat that as your own religion and not like it's all there's no questioning of it. Like
Right.
it's just part of it. It's just part of it.
Exactly.
And we don't question it, much like we don't question anything else in the Bible.
Right.
Like it's all just canon and we accept it, right? Like that's how people treat it.
Yeah.
Why don't we there's some things like that that I know and I've known for a long time to be very pagan, to be very not Christian.
They just feel pagan. Even if you don't know, you just have this feeling that doesn't seem like it tracks with anything biblical or Christian.
Right. But I can't understand how people in the religion don't just ask that. Like, how do you not ask that question? How does that never come up?
Well, I mean, Christmas is fun. And
right.
Decorating Christmas trees is fun. And we decorate the Christmas tree and we watch the Macy's Day Parade. And, we go to church on Sunday. Like, there's a schedule of things that white picket fence Karens do.
I agree.
Why would you ask something that works? Why would you question a thing that is working?
But that's exactly why no one questions Christ or the Bible or anything else. It's the same reasons that we don't question why there are pagan trees in our fucking houses at Christmas time is the same reason why nobody in Christianity or religion in general really understand what they're talking about when they're talking about their own fucking religion and beliefs.
Right.
They don't know these things. They just believe what they've been taught. And it just keep pushing the same fucking things forward because it's what they've been taught.
Let me ask you this, and if you don't like this question, you can totally cut it from the episode. We did not put up a Christmas tree this past Christmas.
No, we didn't.
We did not decorate at all. Part of the reason is because we moved into a new house earlier in the year in spring.
Yep.
And we can use the excuse that, well, all of our boxes are still, down in the basement and in the garage. And they just weren't easy to get to. But the truth is, if we wanted to decorate, we could have.
Sure.
And we didn't.
But we didn't really do it the year before either.
We did a very small scale.
Yeah, we put a fucking slate thing up on a tree that said ass.
Well, okay.
So, I mean...
There's a whole story behind that, but okay. I mean...
I'm just saying, we didn't really go out of our way to do it the year before.
No, we didn't.
We're not big... I mean, I have never really... to me... Look, I'm good with the holiday time. I like getting together with family. But to me, giving is something that you should be willing to do any time of the year. It's not something that is specifically... it's not specific to this specific time for any reason for me.
No.
Other than that's when I had time off school when I was younger. And that's when, everybody else celebrates this time and gave gifts, that's the only thing that ties me to it is tradition. And I'm not as big on, I like tradition, but I don't like tradition without reason. I don't like tradition without meaning. And to me, there's no meaning behind Christmas because I don't believe in what Christmas is.
No, I've had an entirely different journey towards the non-decorating thing. And it was not as straightforward and thought out as yours. I grew up with, yes, Christmas does not have to be tied to a date on the calendar. We did not always celebrate Christmas on Christmas Day because my father was in the military. He did shift work. Sometimes he was either not available or TDY in another country. So, we had to celebrate when Dad was available to celebrate.
TDY.
Tour of duty.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I knew what it meant. I just
sent away on a task in another country.
Right.
Whatever your military job is.
Yeah.
Sorry. I remember one year my dad was sent to England while we were living in Italy.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. At any rate, so yeah, Christmas isn't tied to the calendar. I've always been there. I've never understood people who they have to celebrate it on the day.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Especially for birthdays. if your birthday falls on a Wednesday, you don't have to
Who wants
fucking
to celebrate
celebrate
a
it
fucking
on
Wednesday
Wednesday.
birthday, right?
Right. Yeah. Celebrate on the weekend, either before or after, you dum-dum.
Right.
Like, the calendar doesn't own you. You own the calendar.
Right.
Okay, but whatever. Anyway, but we did always decorate regardless.
Sure.
And it was just a thing. And so I was really disappointed as an adult. Like, I would always wait for somebody to kind of be in charge of, and now we decorate.
And have I ever wanted to?
And you've never wanted to? And so it always was like a quote unquote task, an obligation, a job that fell onto me, with me dragging you and the kids along, because the kids didn't really want to decorate either.
Right.
And, you know, you, bless your heart, you were very sweet. You supported me in my being reluctantly in charge of doing it. You always made it jolly. Once I said, this is what we're doing.
Right.
You got on board quick. And we always play the Alvin and Chipmunk Christmas on our record player.
Yep.
Because that's just what you do when you're decorating.
Definitely.
And so, I mean, we try to create our own tradition.
Sure.
And I feel like we did a good job of that. But then as our last kid got older, you know, and was less inclined, like we were less inclined, it kind of seemed like, well, if nobody else is interested, I'm not going to do it. I was only doing it for y'all.
Right.
And y'all didn't want to do it. So why am I going to put myself out? And then as we started this podcast, it became just even more of a, I'm sorry, why are we doing this again? So it took me a different route to get where I am today, that I honestly don't think we'll probably be decorating for Christmas anymore.
But we have talked about maybe starting some other tradition, you know, doing something different.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to be on board with it, right? Like I want to feel what we're doing. So like I feel like there should be something that we celebrate, like about science or something along those lines, that we choose that time because that's when everybody else is celebrating something, right?
Right.
But we choose that time to celebrate something that we can get behind. And you know, and just like you said about the calendar, I don't give a fuck what it is.
Right.
Just as long as it's ours and we
Right.
can choose the date. It doesn't fucking matter. It's our holiday.
So maybe we could still have a Christmas tree, but hang like scientific, like hang a microscope and
I think that would be
shit
awesome.
like that, and like books
Like
and stuff.
deck out our entire house in science shit.
That would be really badass.
Right? No,
Yeah.
I would love that. Like
Yeah.
I could get down with that.
Well, that's something to think about. And that's completely off topic, but you could see why I had to talk about trees, right?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That I'm sure we've missed a lot of nuances in the Bible.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just because there's so much meaning wrapped up in a lot of the little things that they say that we don't quite understand.
We don't
right?
know to ask.
And we don't know to ask.
Right.
So I'm sure we've missed more than we've gotten.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
definitely.
But it's always fun to find these little, you know, bits
Little
about
tidbits.
Yeah, about these things that we already know are there. We just don't know where to find all the little bits about it. You know?
And that was a place. We found
that was
one.
a place. We found one. Yeah. It's like finding Waldo.
Exactly.
All right. I think that was all you had for today's episode. Is that correct?
That was all I had for today's episode, correct.
Awesome. I hope we answered some questions for y'all. And we will be back tomorrow, which is Sunday for...
We hadn't discussed it yet.
We hadn't. And that's why I was looking at you questioningly, because I wasn't entirely sure.
I think we need to talk about it.
Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow with something, probably.
Yes. Probably a Patreon episode, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think we're behind on that.
Oh, we are behind on both.
Yeah.
And the Patreon takes precedence over the book club. So
right.
I'm thinking that that's probably what we'll do, if not both.
Sure.
But we'll talk about it.
Probably not both.
Probably not both.
We've been lazy lately.
And
we're still recovering, you know?
Well, I mean, you can tell from my voice that I am still a little like...
Yeah. No, and honestly, everybody I talk to, this sickness seems to just keep lingering for everybody. So, it is what it is.
Right.
But that being said, today we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for something.
And then on Monday, we'll be back with Isaiah chapter 58.
That's right. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.